Island FM 107.1.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 3 of Going Wild in the Highlands with me, Floss, and my mate Lou.
Hi.
We've got lots of things that we want to talk about today, and there are so many subjects on our list that I'm not going to take up the time to tell you about them. We'll just get straight in to koalas. So, Lou, we went out together.
Yeah, we did. We went out on the town at night to the Barrel Cinema and we listened to koala karaoke.
Yeah, we did. We had a great time. The Southern Highlands Koala Conservation Team put on a really entertaining evening. We learnt a whole lot about koalas. There were lots of people there. There were plenty of kids there. And what they did was present, information about koalas, do some short talks, and then they would have koala karaoke. We'd all sing and have a good time.
Particularly you, as I recall. You sang, you knew every song and you knew the words to every song.
I had fun singing, but I would have had more fun if you'd been up doing it too, and if you weren't sitting there like a bloody wombat poo on a rock.
Oh, charming, I'm sure. I didn't know the words to some of them. I
They
knew the
were
third
written in
one.
front of you.
Yeah, I know, but they come on a little bit too late and then you're off the beat.
They are a little bit fast
Anyhow,
for
I found
some
it- yes.
people. Anyway, we had good fun, and if they put it on again next year, I'm going to wear my gold lame pantsuit.
Oh, that was great to see the gold lame on show, wasn't it?
Yeah, the girls were great. They dressed up for the evening, and we really had a lot of fun. And we learnt a whole lot of koala facts, so we're about to impress you with all the koala facts we know. Stand aside, Casey and Margot, because we've got this one. So, Lou, hit us with some koala facts.
Well, I was particularly blown away by what's going on in the Highlands.
Tell me about that.
Well, I did realise this, that we are one of the koala capitals of New South Wales.
Yes,
that we have,
yes.
They estimate up to 3,000, maybe more.
That's right.
That's
yeah.
a lot, given what's going down everywhere else. We are losing a lot of koalas and all that sort of thing in many places. But here, we're proud to say we have really, really got quite a number, and people are making sightings all over the place.
Yep, that's true. That's true. We learnt that there are 2 main koala populations in the Highlands, although they've been spotted around other spots. So there's an eastern population over in the water catchment area where we've got Avon Dam and Nepean Dam and so on. And there's a western population over in the Canyon-Lee Greater Western Wildlife Corridor area. And the 2 populations have got some differences. Tell us about that, Lou.
Oh, yeah. Well, it is so interesting. I can't believe kind of the figures here. Like, every animal has a range that they can sort of roam around, and that is, where they might shelter or where they might feed and so on and so forth. And, they can't sort of roam into other animals' territory, and koalas are no different. But in the east, where we have so much undisturbed habitat, and we have this high quality soil and a really beautiful kind of habitat, a koala can probably only range around 10 hectares, an individual. So, within 10 hectares, he or she can live their life quite well.
They've got a sufficient food supply.
And shelter, the territory is small. That's 10 hectares. But when you go out to Canyon-Lee, where the soil is poor, the quality of the tree leaves is poorer, you have to go 500 hectares to have a territory that will look after you in every respect,
Sustain
to
you.
feed you and
Yep.
and to provide shelter. That's a huge difference, isn't it?
That's right. So given that, you can imagine how hard koalas are to find. They just hang around in the trees. They, especially during the daytime, they hardly ever move. They're more active at night time. So people who are out looking for koalas, specifically scientists, ecologists and so on, have been really challenged in the past to try and find these guys. So they've developed some really clever ways of trying to work out where the koalas are and getting a sense of how many there are out there. So some of our koalas up here have got tracking collars on them, and the koala team goes out with those bizarre-looking antenna things that they carry around, trying to find the koala with their tracking devices. Apparently, I think they said there's about 60 who've got koala tracking collars. And then they've been using a very clever technique, which is to put microphones out in areas where they think they might find koalas and listen during the breeding season. Listen for the call of the koala. Oops, I'll just go and get a call of a koala for people to listen to.
That's why we called it they called it karaoke. They called it karaoke because of the sounds of the male when he's looking for a female. It's not a pretty sound.
No, it is not. Have a listen to this, everybody. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the haka.
And it's loud, isn't it? I believe it's very loud. If you got one under your house, you're kind of like not going to stay asleep.
Yes, and it's not the kind of sound you want to hear coming at you at night time.
Now, didn't you tell the story about how you saw the koala at, where was it?
It was down
you
at
allowed to
Talong. Yes, I'll say as much as that. It was down at Talong. I was with a friend.
And you weren't looking for koalas, were you?
No, we were looking for glossy black cockatoos. And we were just wandering along quietly, as Lou frequently advises me to do when I'm out in the bush, just not saying much to each other. And suddenly I heard a rustle behind me, looked around, thinking that I might see, a goanna or something like that. And there was a koala on the ground, zipping between one tree and another tree. And we were very close to each other and gave each other a little bit of a fright, I think. Anyway, it zoomed up a tree nearby, just a tiny tree actually. I was quite surprised that it would sustain the weight of the koala to see it. And it just happily sat up there checking us out while
waiting for you to go.
Well, it seemed fairly relaxed. It was happy and showed me its best side so I could take some photos. It was a great feeling. So I also heard a story, I think they might have said it at the karaoke night, Lou, because I went out the following night as well to the koala nighttime search party, that somebody recently has filmed koalas in Mansfield Reserve in East Bowral.
Yes, there's supposed to be a mother there and baby.
A mother and a baby, and apparently the mother with the baby on her back was being pursued by a male who was pretty keen to make friends with her.
Here we go.
Yeah, so once or twice I've heard people sneering about the fact that there are allegedly koalas in Mansfield Reserve, but they're there. And the koala team told us that this is because a lot of planting has been undertaken in that area over a number of years, and there are people in there doing land care or bush care or friends of, whatever they are, looking after it and keeping the weeds out. And the koalas have been sighted in there since about 2019 and not previously. So
they're migrating into that
area.
They're
coming into planted habitat. So fantastic argument for, putting in new plantings where actually can create habitat for these gorgeous creatures.
So they're breeding about now, aren't they? September to about through to February, I believe.
I think so. I can't remember exactly what they said, but certainly they've had the microphones out through October. But the microphones will give them a sense of where the koalas are, but not so much how many there are. So on the night when we did the koala hunt, we were introduced to the latest piece of equipment that the koala team are using, which is a drone with a thermal camera.
Whoa, technology is really helping a lot of ecological work, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, this one, they keep on enthusing about this. This is a game changer, apparently, this one. So we saw a demonstration. The two pilots are fabulous people. They're really enthused and clearly spend many, many, many nights in the bush flying their camera. The camera works best at night because you have to have a temperature differential between the environment and the animals. So the cooler the environment, the easier it is to find the creatures. So we watched them fly the drone, and we could see what the drone was seeing on an iPad. And we saw wombats and, oh my goodness,
Possums?
I'm having a blank. Possums and the
Surely.
big glider. What's the
The greater glider.
greater glider?
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
So it was
I've got
great.
a thing about the greater glider.
Oh, well, you should have been there, darling. You would
Yes,
have
I
seen
should
it.
have been there, but you can't be everywhere all the time.
No. So let's just talk about a couple of koala facts and then we'll move on to the next subject. So some interesting things about koalas. One thing that I learned was that koalas don't have one thumb, they have two. And both those thumbs kind of face the other fingers and help them to grip. And a koala fingerprint is apparently very, very similar to a human fingerprint.
You know what I learnt? I didn't know this. I knew wombats had a pouch that faced backwards. A wombat digs, and if it faced forward, poor little baby in the pouch would get nothing but dirt in the pouch, and that would be terrible. So that's why it's got a backward facing pouch. But so has the koala. And the koala goes up trees, right? So wouldn't you
Yes.
think, obviously you've got to have very good stomach muscles if you're a koala.
Yes, in fact, I read only this morning that they actually do have a muscle around the outside, around the opening of the pouch, so that the mum can keep that area closed. So little Pinky...
Go core strength.
Yes, go
Yes.
core strength. So Pinky doesn't fall out.
And another thing I learned is how to recognise on a tree the scratches.
Oh, yes? Tell everyone about that.
Well, I haven't quite got a grip on the back ones, but for the front paws, 2 scratches at an angle of about, well, what would you say, at maybe 11 o'clock? That sort of angle.
I'm not helping you here. You can
do you
this
know
on
what
your
I'm
own.
saying? It's not a parallel 2 scratches.
No,
it's
they're not up and down, and they're
slightly
not
to 11
horizontal.
o'clock.
Yes, okay.
You know what I mean?
And that's a sign of?
That's the front paws, front claws.
Yes, grabbing onto clamber
It's
up
quite
the tree.
distinctive. And the ones I've seen, they're about, what's that? What's that, Leah? Maybe 30 centimetres less, slightly less than 30 centimetres long. 2 scratches.
Right. So
11 o'clock.
Where have you seen them? She's having a mental blank, listeners.
Have I seen them? Now, where might it, which bushwalk was I on?
All right. We're leaving that behind. She's looking too vague about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
So
I can't remember
I
where.
think that'll do us for koalas, and we're just going to have a little halt for an advertising break. And this advertisement is for our show. We've got some great news. We are now available on all of the podcast platforms. We're on Apple, we're on Spotify, we'll shortly be on Google Podcasts. We're on so many podcast platforms that I don't even know half of them. We're also available on YouTube, and Lou tells me, look, the very best way to find us is to simply put into Google Going Wild in the Highlands, and one way or another you'll find a way to our podcast. And we're also, as we've said before, on Highland FM 107.1 at 8 p.m. on a Monday evening. It's now every Monday evening. We're saturating the airwaves. And also on the Highland FM website, anytime you like, just search podcasts and you'll find all of our back catalogue, and you can listen to us there. Right, next subject, Lou.
I want to talk about fire. We have to talk
Yes,
about fire. This
please.
is the beginning of the fire season. 1st of October officially
All right.
is the beginning of the fire season. So you don't want to start burning in your backyard anymore unless you've got a permit, which you can get from the council. But I wanted to just tell you a few sort of sensible things you can do around your home
Please do, because my fire plan at the moment is simply know where my car keys are, so I need some more advice. Go for it. It's all yours.
Oh dear. All right. Well, I'll run through a few things that are pretty easy to do. First of all, it's a good idea to trim any overhanging trees and shrubs so that you can stop any fire that you might get or spark coming into your property. Anywhere near your home, and you should mow the grass. It is a good idea to mow the grass and to remove the cuttings afterwards, because of course they dry out and then they catch fire. So the most important thing I think you can do to help the fire is to clear all around your house. Now, you know how a lot of people, Floss, they like to sit around on the couches under the veranda and have a drink with their mates and all this kind of stuff of a summer's evening.
The Australian way.
The Australian way. And they got so much furniture out there, like old couches and goodness knows what. Well, really, that does not help the firemen when they're rushing around your home with hoses trying to keep it safe.
Yes.
So remove all your... obviously you do this when things are getting a little bit serious.
Getting hot.
I heard fireys really complaining about some houses that have got so much furniture, outside furniture, around their houses, and the next door place has none, and they're going, I suppose we're going to save this one, but they're kind of cranky because they can't get the hoses around that one.
Right.
Yeah, it's a real
So we
problem.
need to get them on side by making it easy for them.
Absolutely. Get it inside. And talking about getting inside, gas bottles.
Right.
Gas bottles. You know, when you've got a barbecue, you've got a gas bottle. And frankly, you've got to empty it for a start. Otherwise, it's going to explode. If you can't empty it or you can't take it off the property, I have heard from my friend, the best thing you could do, it sounds a bit mad, but is to take that bottle and put it in the bathroom or in the centre of the house.
Right.
By which time your house is gone anyhow.
Yeah.
And so, don't have it on the outside.
Don't have
it
don't
in
want
the
to
veranda.
increase the fuel load, so to speak.
It'll just explode and you'll be a goner.
Right.
So I think the gas bottle thing and also taking out the furniture, to me, they're two things that I suppose I hadn't really focused on.
about.
If you get on the RFS website, you will see everything you need to do. And there are obvious things like, taking the leaves and the debris out of your gutters, because burning embers is really the issue. You may not, the fire may be a long way away, but if it's a windy day...
I remember in 2019, 2020, they were saying the embers were just going for kilometres.
Yeah. So that's just some of the things you can do. You should keep your doors and windows closed to prevent the smoke entering your home. You should remove the washing off the clothesline, unless you want smoky drawers.
Rightio, got that in mind.
No smoky drawers. Obviously, you put the pets in a protected area. And just basically don't call 000 just to report that it's smoky.
Oh, right.
Some people just freak out.
They're clogging up the services.
The communications. That very often it's a prescribed burn. So all those things really help.
And what about, did you learn about any apps? I used to use the Fires Near Me app.
Oh, Fires Near Me. Excellent. Excellent.
That's my whole entire contribution to fire prep.
Download the Fires Near Me app. It's free. And you can see exactly where all the fires are and what kind of fires they are, whether they're under control or whether they're getting under control or whether they're out of control. And that is, I found that brilliant in the 2019 and 20 fires.
If you haven't used that app, everyone, at that app, please download it and get a little bit familiar with it before you really need it. Make sure that you know how to use it.
I'd say the same thing with the RFS website too. It's quite there's a lot in there. So to find your way around, have a look at it now. just so you know where to go if you get a little bit anxious later in the season. Yeah.
And make sure you know where your car keys are.
Oh, yes. Good idea.
Things happening in October. Right, get ready for this, everybody. This is a long list. I'm going to go through it fairly quickly, but I'll put all of this in the show notes. Wherever you're listening to us, you should be able to find the details about these events. Throughout October, in the atrium of the council buildings, there is going to be a display about all things natural in the Southern Highlands. There'll be lots of speakers and experts around to give us advice about feral animals, grow me instead, volunteer animal carers, bush tucker, threatened species, feral watch, all sorts of stuff. For details of that, go to the Wingecarribee Shire website. Then on the 4th and the 7th of October, there are going to be composting workshops run by Wingecarribee Shire Council.
Where's that going to be?
Don't know, but if you go to the council website, you'll find the answers to that. On Tuesday the 10th, there's going to be a film called Darkswell, a film about bushfire recovery from an artist's point of view. That'll be shown in the Civic Centre theatrette at 12 midday and 6 p.m. Details on the council website, and I'm told that's a really good movie, so check it out. Saturday the 14th, worm farming workshop by Wingecarribee Shire Council. October 16 to 22, Aussie bird count, which hopefully we'll get a little bit of time to talk about more a little bit later on. Wednesday the 18th, the movie Black Cockatoo Crisis will be shown at the Empire Theatre. That's free, but I imagine you have to book. Have a look online to find some details about that. Thursday the 19th, water treatment plant tour at Glenquarry. Thursday the 19th, sewage treatment plant tour at Vale. There you go, Lou. You want nature?
Yeah, that's for me.
Nature
That's
raw. I actually did a sewage treatment plant tour one time, and it was really interesting. On Friday the 20th, John Creighton, the Wingecarribee Citizen of the Year, will be giving a talk at the atrium at Wingecarribee Shire Council about his work with wombats. On Saturday the 21st, there's going to be a birdie breakfast at Gamble's Rest in Bundanoon. That's always fun. That's a good one to take the kids to. Saturday and Sunday the 21st and 22nd, that's the Vale Classic, the 2-day cycling event, another great nature activity. So, Lou, on your bike, Saturday and Sunday, 28th and 29th. Bundanoon Garden Ramble. Can you tell us a bit about that? You probably know a bit about that.
Yeah, it's good fun. And actually, this is a good weekend if you're living in the Highlands and you want to lure one of your family, friends or whatever out of the big smoke. They usually enjoy this weekend. It's a whole weekend of going around gardens. I think there's usually about 4 on the Saturday and 4 on the Sunday. And you can buy tickets to go to one or all of them. And it's just a really lovely, relaxing weekend of cruising around different kind of gardens with different styles. And it's so enjoyable. Everybody I know likes to go to the garden ramble at Bundanoon each year.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so
I might check it out myself. And then just one little November event, because it's early in the month and I don't want you to miss out on it. The Southern Highlands Koala team are going to do a Wild West koala karaoke out in Canyon Lea. So
will you be singing?
It's possible. Koala-la-la, koala-la-la, la 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 la.
Oh.
You won't find
me
next
to get a
year.
seat
I'll have
somewhere
you
else.
in there. Yeah, well, it's possible I might choose to sit next to someone else next.
Someone
year.
else who can sing.
Maybe I should conduct some auditions. Quick mention again of Aussie bird count. The BirdLife Australia runs this event every year. It lasts for around about a week. I think I said it was the 16th to the 22nd of October. I hope I've got those dates right, but you can check it out online. You do not have to be any kind of bird expert to do the Aussie bird count. The app, which you'll need to download, has got all kinds of helping aspects to it that'll help you to identify the birds that you might be seeing. They want you to go out, just do some 20-minute searches to see what you can find in your backyard, in your local park, anywhere that you might be. You can do as many searches as you like. You can do one every 20 minutes if you like. But please keep that in mind. It gives BirdLife Australia heaps and heaps and heaps of facts about birds and who's out there, and it's kind of just a snapshot of the birds that are around us. And we learn all kinds of interesting things about which birds are becoming more and more predominant in certain areas.
And which are becoming rarer. Yeah.
Who's in trouble?
Who's in trouble?
Yeah. Another thing that's happening in spring is that the magpies are swooping. And this is another situation where I feel like sometimes the birds have got a bad reputation, and I just want to correct a couple of misunderstandings about swooping magpies. So they are only going to do this during the breeding season, and what they're trying to do is to protect their young from, or their nest from perceived predators, which unfortunately they sometimes think includes us. So it's only the males that swoop, and it's only about 10% of the males that swoop. But they can do you a damage. I'm not being disingenuous. You don't want to be near swooping magpies. It should be that if you've got magpies in your yard and you've always been good to them and you don't show too much interest in their nest or their nestling, that they won't swoop you. It's the magpies that don't know you.
Isn't there some research about this? If you're nice to your magpies, your local magpies, they will be nice back to you. I'm sure I've read that.
Yes, they get to know you.
Yeah.
And another time we really should talk about magpies. They're fabulous. They've got lots of personality and they're very, very clever. But, protect yourself from swooping. Don't hang around in an area where magpies are swooping. Tell yourself it's only for a couple of weeks. You have to do a bit of a detour, and don't be intimidated by them. They're great birds, and they're just trying to do what we do. They're trying to protect their young. So,
but can I tell you my happy story? My happy
yes, please
highlight
do.
of the last week or two was I saw what must be my favourite butterfly that lives in the Highlands. It's called Maclay's swallowtail butterfly.
Oh, beautiful,
Have you
beautiful
seen
butterfly.
them?
I haven't this year. I saw one or two last year.
So
just describe
beautiful.
the butterfly.
Well, it's black and green mostly. But the green is like Granny Smith green.
Yes,
it's
iridescent, really, isn't it?
It's such a beautiful, and even its legs are green.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've never got that close. They move so fast.
They do. They flit all the time. Where I saw it was I was walking to 60-foot falls through Mount Alexandra.
Uh-huh.
And I just got to the falls, and there was a bank in full sunlight of rice flowers. Those little white flowers that I often think, they're a bit insignificant. But these guys it was just full-on bank facing the sun, hot day, and this Maclay butterfly was just flitting from one to the next, to the next, to the next. And I've only seen, that's the third time in the Highlands in the 8 years or 9 years I've been here that I've seen them. It's such a beautiful, beautiful butterfly.
It is. It's a stunning one. So the butterflies are starting to come out. I'm starting to see a few around. Keep your eyes peeled. We might talk a bit more about butterflies next month.
That would be great.
Yeah. But in the meantime, everybody, have a look around for butterflies. So, Lou, I reckon that'll just about do us. I think you could run the credits, girlfriend.
Well, it's been a real pleasure this month to chat about all these different things. I hope you keep your eyes open and check everything out and get out there in nature. This is the best time of year. Everything's happening out there. There's so much going on. I'd like to thank the Highlands FM team who helps us sound so good. I'd also like to thank Louise Docker. If you'd like to write to us about where you walk or what you see, what you would like us to talk about, you can email us on flossandlou, or one word, @gmail.com.
Bye.
Cheers now.
Koala-la-la, koala-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, koala-la-la, koala-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Bye.